Russian authorities are increasingly sending yesterday's schoolchildren to the front, turning dreams of Russia's future into funeral notices and obituaries. As the BBC has found out, at least 245 Russian soldiers aged 18 have died in the war against Ukraine over the past 2 years, and this is only confirmed data. According to experts, the real losses are several times higher. Formally, 18-year-old Russians are not supposed to participate in military operations. The 72-year-old Russian dictator Putin himself swore that conscripts would not be sent to the front. However, it has turned out the regime has created a scheme in which teenagers sign a contract immediately after school, either under pressure from the police or in exchange for money and propaganda. The price of the issue is 100,000 rubles for each recruiter. Most often, teenagers are recruited by security forces earning decent money. After the full-scale invasion, the education system was turned into a mobilization factory. Schools held patriotism lessons, taught how to make trench candles, soldiers read war stories to children, and high school students were once again given training machine guns. All this is part of the effort to turn the poor and naive into cannon fodder. Young men without prospects, especially in poor regions, often agree to sign a contract out of desperation or under pressure from the police. The BBC cites the story of Vitaly Ivanov from Siberia. He was beaten up at the police station and then suddenly found himself at the front. There he died on his first combat mission, less than a week into the war. From April 2023 to July 2025, the BBC recorded 245 deaths among 18-year-old contractors. In total, according to their data, at least 2,812 people aged 18 to 20 died in the war. But since most deaths are not publicized, the real number could be as high as 267,000 dead. Teenagers who were supposed to be the future of Russia are now becoming its victims. Some are deceived by propaganda, others are intimidated by truncheons. All are used by the system. Dreams of medicine, construction or technology are cut short in the Ukrainian trenches. They are young, naive and don't realize where they are going, says the girlfriend of the deceased Alexander Petlinsky. He signed the contract 2 weeks after his 18th birthday. He was gone 20 days later.
Russia's national airline Aeroflot cancelled dozens of flights on Monday due to system failure after a large-scale cyber attack. A pro-Ukrainian hacker group Silent Crow claimed responsibility for the attack. A statement from the group said it had launched the operation jointly with a Belarusian group named Cyberpartians BY, and linked the attack to Russia's war of invasion in Ukraine. The hacker group stated that around 7,000 of the airline servers were destroyed and that they gained access to the personal computers of employees and management. Glory to Ukraine! Long live Belarus, said the hacker group's statement. According to reports, Aeroflot's infrastructure has been destroyed, employees have no means of communication, and technicians are unable even to refuel the planes. Aeroflot said it was experiencing service disruptions to all of its electronic systems and had to change flight schedules. Customers may encounter issues when accessing our services. We kindly ask passengers to monitor real-time updates on airport websites, information displays, and public announcements across the airline's route network, the airline said in a statement. It gave no further details about the cyber attack. Ukraine has no official commented on the incident. Russian Telegram channels reported that damages to Aeroflot are estimated at $10 to $50 million. Flights have partially resumed, but full recovery is expected to take 6 months to a year, according to reports.
In Sumy, after Russian commanders forced their soldiers into a bloodbath in the fields, the result of a larger Ukrainian strategy in play began to bear its fruits, with fresh reserves stationed too far from the front line to reinforce. Ukrainians executed a beautiful pincer maneuver that pushed Russians back from yet another settlement, as the Russian Sumy offensive seems to have reached a complete stall. Euromaidan Press says, after weakening Russian positions through precise airstrikes, Ukrainian forces launched successful multi-directional counter-attacks, prominently retaking Andriivka in a swift maneuver. The goal behind Ukraine's push is clear: disrupt Russia's forward momentum, slow down their offensive, and exploit the resulting vulnerabilities. By preserving their combat power for only surgical strikes and inflicting maximum damage on Russian units, Ukrainian commanders are carefully taking the initiative and systematically weakening enemy forces. Fields surrounding Andriivka littered with Russian casualties and burning motorcycles, clear evidence of the heavy price paid for their reckless and misguided attacks. Euromaidan Press says, not only did these fruitless assaults drain Russian manpower, but they also achieved no real gains, compounding Russia's operational predicament. Fields surrounding Andriivka, littered with Russian casualties and burning motorcycles, clear evidence of the heavy price paid for their reckless and misguided attacks. Not only did these fruitless assaults drain Russian manpower, but they also achieved no real gains, compounding Russia's operational predicament. Russian difficulties intensified further amidst the ongoing Ukrainian strike campaign targeting rear area troop concentrations, command posts, and logistical hubs. These strikes not only inflicted substantial casualties on Russian forces, but also forced Russian commanders to position their reserve forces further from the immediate area of operations. However, with these reserves stationed away from watchful Ukrainian drone reconnaissance, Russian forces are also unable to respond swiftly to rapidly unfolding events on the front line, playing right into the hands of Ukrainian commanders. Following the devastating losses and bloodbath in the fields around Andriivka, Russian units near the front line faced a critical manpower shortage and lacked immediate reinforcements to stabilize their weakening positions. Recognizing this window of opportunity and the vulnerability of the Russians, Ukrainian forces acted decisively. Euromaidan Press says, with Russian reserves either dead in the fields or stationed too far to provide timely reinforcements, Ukraine pressed its advantage, launching coordinated air, drone and HIMARS missile strikes against known Russian troop concentrations in Kindrativka. Ukrainian drones methodically hunted down and eliminated Russian infantry clusters, while precise HIMARS strikes obliterated remaining fortifications and munition stores with devastating effect. Airstrikes with AASM hammer bombs ensured no immediate reinforcements could move forward safely, effectively neutralizing major resistance within Kindrativka itself and limiting the possibility of surviving Russian troops finding cover within the ruins. With organized resistance in Kindrativka decisively broken, Ukrainian commanders rapidly executed a lightning assault to retake the town.